Hi everyone, it's Casey Williams. If you're going to attempt a record at Germany's famed Nürburgring, you need a car that has 4 big gold wheels and a giant rear wing and probably a powertrain and chassis to back all that up. Well, that's exactly what Subaru delivers with the WRX STi RA. That's RA for record attempt. So let's go have a look at the car that honors the car that took the record. Well, the STi RA is a pretty aggressive looking car. It has a couple of features that set it aside from other STIs. But let's start with the front. The front's been upgraded. It looks more like the current Impreza. The STi is still basically on the old architecture, the last generation Impreza architecture. But the front's been upgraded, has more of a family look to it. LED headlamps, and the RA features, the cherry blossom red trim here. There's a red stripe on the back of the car, the lower chin spoiler, and just some of the graphics as well. So again, it looks very aggressive from the front. Of course, the big hood scoop that identifies it as a WRX. Come around the side, there are those big 19-inch light alloy wheels provided by BBS. Brembo disc brakes behind them. Again, the car just looks very well planted, looks very mean, very aggressive. I always like the way the cars are designed. It's a very iconic look for the WRX, the bulging fenders. And just the rest of it just has a normal, compact sedan profile. So if you weren't really paying attention to it in traffic, you could probably get your butt beat by it. But of course, you see things like the vents in the back that really do call it out as something special. Come around the back of it, there's that giant wing, carbon fiber, very nice. And the other thing that's a little difficult to see in the video, the roof is also carbon fiber. They did a lot to take weight out of this vehicle for the record attempt. Quad exhaust outlets, rear diffuser underneath of it. But being that this is based on the Impreza, it's fairly practical inside. Large trunk, back seats fold down. You can actually get a bicycle in there if you take the front wheel off. And one other thing they did to lightweight the car is they took the spare tire out of it. So you're gonna be dealing with run flats or a canister. If you're looking at buying one of the 500 RAs that'll be available, this is probably the main reason why. It's a 2.5-liter turbocharged boxer 4-cylinder engine, delivers 310 horsepower. That's 5 horsepower more than the regular STi. This is connected to a close ratio 6-speed manual transmission, and they've actually adjusted the third gear to make it even more aggressive. Of course, this has all-wheel drive. It's a very aggressive all-wheel drive setup, which is fantastic for this car. And we'll show you some more features when we get to the interior that make it even more impressive. 0 to 60 time, under 5 seconds, so it's a very quick car. Talk about one thing that isn't so favorable about it, and if you own a Ford F-150, the numbers might sound kind of familiar. Fuel economy, 17 miles per gallon in the city, 22 miles per gallon on the highway. But I'll tell you this, when you put in first gear and you stomp the throttle and all four wheels dig in, the car will absolutely move out in a hurry. It is a lot of fun to drive. And when you're driving it, you'll forget all about the fuel economy. I've heard some people complain that the interior of the STi isn't as special as it should be. And for me, I think it's special enough. And the fact that it's just not totally crazy special actually makes it very usable day to day. And I think that's just fine too. But some of the things that do make it a little bit unique, the Recaro seats with the red patches on, the red stitching. You got red stitching here on the console, red shift knob, the STi logo. I think those are all things that are really nice. And I really like these seats. A lot of times you get cars like this, and the seats are just really hard and just grip your ribs in a way that you don't want to be in the seats very long. But these are spread out enough, it's got nice bolsters, they're comfortable, adjustable headrests on them so you can get comfortable in them. It really is a car that I could sit in these seats for 1,000 miles and be very comfortable. A lot of the rest of the car inside is very typical Subaru Impreza last generation, honestly. It's got the last generation touchscreen, but I don't think it's the easiest one to use. It's the same one that's in the current generation Outback, but it works well enough. Volume, tuning, easy enough to figure out. Phone, you can swipe controls through the radio stations. It's got Bluetooth, of course, USB inputs as well. Down below, dual zone automatic climate control. Up above, you've got the vehicle computer. Right now, it's got the boost gauge on it, and you can scroll through. It's got the acceleration, monitors it as well. Powertrain, fuel economy, clock, typical things you'd expect to be in the vehicle computer. But some other nice things I really like about the interior of the car. I like this thick, suede steering wheel, flat bottom, red stitching, looks very nice, and does what it needs to do. But there's a couple of things I want to show you right here in the center console that continues to make this car unique. So the first knob is the SI drive, and this adjusts the throttle sensitivity. So you can press it, and it's just in the normal commuter mode, good balance. Left is to sport, makes it a little more aggressive, turn it right, a lot more aggressive. So I think that, depending on how your driving style is, that's cool. The next one down is to control the center differential. So you can actually vary the torque going to each end of the vehicle. So you can have more of a rear bias if that's what you want, or if the weather's bad, a little bit more of a front bias where you can lock it in. So that helps you, again, depending on how you're driving the car and where you're driving the car. But overall, again, it's a car that I would drive a very long ways, and it'd be very enjoyable to be inside. Power just keeps coming. It's a lot of fun. Again, it's only 310 horsepower, but the turbo just brings that torque on, right off of the line, and it just feels great. And even when you're hammering the highway, hammering the interstate, it just seems like it has power in reserve. And with all-wheel drive, you can be very confident that it's going to put that power to the road. Just fully stomping the throttle, you didn't hear any tires spinning, you didn't hear any screeching, nothing. It just dug in and took off. And I think that's fantastic. But you're not going to drive a car like that all the time. What's also important is that the car is drivable every single day. You can commute in it, and it's nice for that too. It has a pretty stiff clutch. You'll think that every day is leg day when you're driving it, but you get used to that, and your leg muscles do build up over time, and it's not any worse than a Camaro or Corvette would be. But being a Subaru too, ergonomically, it's easy to use everything. It's well laid out. Nice thick steering wheel. The gauges are simple, and unlike a lot of sports cars, it doesn't just rattle over bumps. It feels very solid. It just, the suspension is relatively compliant, surprisingly compliant. Some rough roads will unsettle a little bit, but nothing you wouldn't expect. And generally, for the most part, it's a car you can drive in traffic back and forth to work. You can enjoy it on track days on the weekend if you want to. And if you want to put 3 of your friends in the car and drive 1,000 miles with luggage in the back, it's very happy to do that as well. And I think that's just what makes the STI a special car. It's just all the power you want, all the handling you want, all the performance. Especially with the RA, you can adjust the differential if that's what you want to do. I left it in automatic mode. I'm not on track. And, throttle, just put in the intelligent mode and just leave it there, and that's fine too for daily driving. But it really is a car that you can enjoy every single day. To be honest, I don't really care if Subaru won a track record at the Nürburgring or not, but I do like the car. It has a lot of performance, it's fun to drive, I love the all-wheel drive system, the turbo engine's a blast, you just keep hammering it, and the interior is comfortable enough to drive every day or to take on a very long trip. So overall, I think the car is a really cool car. Well, let's talk about pricing. If the fuel economy caused heart palpitations, the price might also. So you can buy a base WRX for just over $27,000. This one with the RA package, $48,995. So if you like the car, I hope you like it a lot. Well, next week we'll have another fun car. Until then, storm forward.